everybody, today I'm going to be flipping through my 20th sketchbook. If you're wondering, I'm using an ELO sketchbook. Then we come to the opening page of the sketchbook, which I struggled a little bit with this one. As you can see, I used a sticky note to sort of block out my mistakes. I originally had done a couple thumbnails of ideas I might like to draw on this main page, but in the end I kept it pretty simple. My first sketching spread was very lowish inspired. This was when I was going through a very heavy lowish phase. And I think that's very evident with these sketches in particular. That one's really cute. So here I believe I was on my bed and my dog was laying at the end of my bed and I was trying to sketch him out as I saw him. He's so cute. Oh, he was eating his jerky. That's what he eats for breakfast every morning. Just so cute. Right now he needs a haircut, so he does not look like this at all. He's a big fluff ball. But when he gets his haircut, he's very lean. Then here's some Spider-Man sketches, some loose ones because I was still practicing drawing my male anatomy. Well, I'm always practicing. Well, when I draw males, I'm practicing. But these are some attempts at that. I really like this one. That's why I added the pencil sketch on top of it. Oh, these were, I was sort of brainstorming ideas for my using every single blue art supply that I own video. I was just trying to think of ideas that would incorporate the color blue, and I kind of settled on like an airline attendant with clouds for hair. And you can see that right here. If you want to see that video, I'll have a link. But yeah, I used every single blue art supply that I own. You can see I swatched them under there and then just taped in the paper into my sketchbook so that I wouldn't lose it. A lot of people said it looked like she was underwater, and I can definitely see that vibe. Here's some other sketches using blue, and I'm trying to draw a dude. I don't know what that looks like. A Teletubby. Oh, this was from my drawing male anatomy video, which if you want to check that out, I'll have it where I talk more in depth about all of these sketches. These, I believe, were all using Pinterest as a reference. They're probably linked on my Pinterest account if you want to use those references as well. So I was definitely trying to practice poses that weren't just like standing up straight. So I wanted to draw like more crunched up bodies. And these were a little bit more of my comfort zone. None of these are really finished. They're kind of just loosening up my wrist kind of thing. Woo, this, I love this. Okay, this I was playing around, just sort of, you know, doodling, and I ended up creating a character that I really love, and I love her color scheme and everything. I was trying to decide whether to call her Wheels or Wheels, and I'm still kind of torn, but I'm leaning towards no H. Feel free to convince me which one's better in the comments, because I'm definitely not settled. And some more sketches of her because I was just falling in love with her design, and it's really fun and simple, so it's easy to draw and like doodle if you want on like little scrap paper, which I also did. And then she has her fun little roller skates. And some more drawings of wheels. This was me and my brothers. Oh, and then this was when I did my 10-minute, 1-minute, 10-second challenge, and I decided to feature my new character. But as you see, I couldn't leave this one the way it was. I had to doodle a little with that. So if you want to see what that looked like originally, you'd have to check out the video. Do it. August was definitely a month that I kind of struggled to have an urge to draw, so there's a lot of like time and space between each of these pages, and because of that there's like very large jumps between like the style and the techniques that I was using, because there's such large breaks in between what I was drawing. This is after I did when I did the monochrome watercolor studies. This was just some little washes inside my sketchbook. And this drawing, I don't know if I posted the video yet. I literally just filmed what I used the sketch for, but I drew this on the computer and I've just taped it into my sketchbook to keep. But this was an idea for a bullet journal cover because I like to draw on my bullet journals. But I'm probably going to post that next week, so if you're excited for that, let me know. It turned out really good, and I'm so excited to show you. Here's some more Spider-Man doodles. Oh, these are my continuous contour drawings. Basically, it's drawing without lifting the pencil, or pen in this case. Oh, this is when I realized, oh no, it's mid-September. October's coming up. October's Inktober, and I don't have a plan. So I decided to go through the official prompts and just sort of like doodle around, sketch, try and get some ideas on paper just so that I wasn't completely clueless going in. So you'll see these Some of these ideas I ended up using, some of them I didn't. Like this one was for Tranquil. I actually really like that. It's kind of cute. I like that color. And then some of the ideas I did end up using, like this witch. I basically just redrew that witch and then little chicken girl. But these were fun because like I didn't have to worry about posting them. It was really, I think I did these all in one day actually. All, what, 6 pages? I just sort of sat there and drew, and it was really, I think it was really, really good for me. It got me back into the mode of drawing consistently. I really like that character too. Oh, this, here's some more of them. Just running through the prompts basically the whole month without using any ink, just pencil. I actually really like the way this looks with that like solid filled in leg and like the way the lines are. I really like that. Oh, and then here's when I finally got those inks and I had to try them out. I bought a whole set of these Dr. P.H. Martin's inks for Inktober, and I was so excited to use them. I was going to use them every single day, but I had to test them out first and see what all the different nibs did and how they acted with the inks, and basically just getting used to them because I'd never used them before. And then here I was thumbnailing out an idea for Inktober Day 1, which happens to be right here. I filmed the entire process of this from sketch to the finished inks, and I have a whole video on that. So this was day 1 and it was poison. I skipped too far ahead. This was day 2. I believe the word was tranquil. And I accidentally spilled some ink. I actually really like that sketch too. I think that one turned out cute. And then this is something that keeps occurring throughout Inktober, is I kind of like my little thumbnails, but then when I try to do it in ink, it loses a little something, and so that might be something you notice. This is the same thing. I kind of like both of these more than I like this one, but they're all cute. I really like this character. She looks fun. There was my original idea for Roasted, was just a girl on fire because she's so upset. But I decided to go with coffee. Oh, this isn't day 4. This is when I decided to do a drawing using every single orange art supply that I owned. And these were some sketches for it, trying to come up with an idea. I thought maybe a pumpkin as a skirt. I don't know. But then I thought classic witch sounds really, really fun. And then this is what I came up with. And a lot of people keep commenting, how does the potion not spill out through the jack-o'-lantern? And I feel like the answer is obvious. Magic. Here's some swatches of all of my orange art supplies so that I could get a feel of what they looked like before I went in and actually drew with them, because I think it's a very good idea to know what you're using before you use it. And here we have day 4, which the prompt word was spell, so I decided to draw a cutesy little witch. Again, I really like this sketch. I feel like it's very fluid, whereas this one feels a lot stiffer. Here's day 5, chicken. I really love this character. I think she turned out so cute. But yeah, this I had to entirely teach myself how to draw a chicken for this prompt, which was really, really cool. And I think that's one of the cool things about prompts, is that they get you to draw things that you wouldn't normally draw. And I'm very happy with the way little Mr. Chicken turned out. This is day 6. The prompt word was drooling, and I decided to draw a little dude drooling over a plate of delicious hot wafers. Of course. I also really like that sketch as well. Oh, this one, I really, really liked this sketch when I made it. This is day 7, or the prompt was exhausted. I feel like there's just a lot of weight to this. Like, she looks like there's weight to her and she's leaning forward. Whereas this one, I feel like I misplaced the head maybe. I don't know, there's something a little different, but I really like the way this like splattered ink is. What I did was I dropped some ink and then I used a spray bottle and sprayed it, and it just did that. It's pretty cool. Which I ended up using later in day 8, which was, the prompt was star, and I wanted to draw a galaxy, and I used that sort of technique with the ink over there, but with a bunch of different colors to create this galaxy. And I used a reference and then practiced over here, but you'll notice there's a lot of colors. It's not just black. Like if you look up at the night sky, you kind of just see black, but after using a reference, I saw that there's a lot of colors when you look up there. I really like all of the sketches here. I really like this character. I definitely want to draw her again, maybe with some color. This was day 9. The prompt was precious, and I did a whole video on that, on the process of me drawing it and coming up with the idea. This was day 10. The prompt was flowing, and I kept thinking, well, you can see my sort of thought process here. I thought of hair and wind, but I decided to go with dancing because, I don't know, when you're dancing, you're just flowing, you know? Very stereotypical because it's not really historically accurate, but it's fine. This is day 11, which the prompt was cruel. And I don't know, I was feeling angsty at the time, I think. And I really like the way it's like a black and white drawing with that like splotch of red. I think that looked really cool. And it looks like blood. Wow. Ooh, this was one of my favorite of the entire month. This is day 12. The prompt was whale. And for the longest time, I had like no idea what I was gonna do. And I was really, really struggling. Like I even wrote, I don't know. But then I remembered one of my favorite artists. She changes her name all the time, but I'll have her linked in the description to wherever she's posting currently. Anyway, I remembered she did these adorable Disney fan arts of like each of the characters on a different animal of a carousel, and it was just, oh, that was my inspiration for this, and I decided to draw a whale because that was the prompt word, and I drew a girl on the whale. So yeah, very, very heavily inspired, and I think it turned out really, really good. I love the color. I don't know, everything just really turned out pretty well, except for this smudge, but you know, other than that. Day 13, the prompt was guarded, and again, I started with a completely different idea than what I ended up with, and so I was like, how do I draw this idea but with a girl as the main focal point? And I decided to draw basically a princess who's being guarded, so her whole life is guarded and she can't exactly do everything that she wanted to do because she's so overly protected, basically, by the king and the queen. Day 14, the prompt was clock. Originally I was going to draw a character that was like inspired by like an old grandfather clock or a table clock or something like that. So like they always had these giant circular glasses, but in the end I kind of just went up with this idea, which was someone checking their pocket watch, and then the watch has like, instead of times, it's more personalized. Does that make sense? Day 15, the prompt was weak, and of course I just drew someone who couldn't lift something heavy. Not much to say about that. I like these because I feel like I did a pretty good job of making it look heavy. Like the way the character's squashed, it looks like, you know, there's some actual weight to that. The idea behind this one was like they had the weight of the world on their shoulders. I don't know, it was like a political statement or something. I don't know. But I decided to go simple. This was day 16, the prompt was angular, and again, I filmed the entire process of this one, even though it's not like my favorite or anything, but you can see me create that. I really like this thumbnail right here. I think that turned out really cute. Day 17, swollen. This was by far the one I struggled with probably the most. Like the original drawing, I haven't even shown anyone. Yeah, I don't even want to. That doesn't need to be seen. It just did not turn out. The whole thing was just a mess. So I taped in this one, and I decided to just go with a balloon, because you know, you blow up a balloon and then it's swollen. So I was like, that fits. So I decided to leave it cutesy and simple. This is day 18. The prompt was bottle, and originally I was practicing drawing some bottles, so some inanimate objects, but then I made this cute little doodle down here of a witch, like magically controlling little bottles as they like fly around. So of course I was like, why would I draw an inanimate object when I can draw a girl? So that was the result of day 18. I like this one too. I think it turned out pretty cute, and I love spider web type things. Day 19, the prompt was scorched, and I kept thinking of my character Magna Girl, so I was just doing a couple doodles of her, and then that was the finished drawing for that. Another one that didn't quite turn out as good as the doodle. This was day 20. The prompt was breakable. This is the first one that I didn't use my Bombay inks with, because this was from I think Art Snacks box. So I used all the tools from that. I have a whole video where I chronicled that process as well, if you're interested in learning more about that one. Day 21 was drain. This one I really didn't put a whole lot of thought into it at first. I just ended up drawing whatever I felt like it. This was like, oh, maybe she drains a bottle of Coca-Cola, or maybe you spilled something. But then I thought, hey, wait a minute, vampires. So, and it was October, so of course I decided to draw a vampire. Day 22 was expensive, and at first I thought, oh, I could draw a character with like a really fancy fun dress, but I thought that's not really like playing off the prompt enough for me, so I decided to draw a character realizing the price of what they were wearing, and I thought that was just more fun. I like that. And I actually used washi tape for the glitter. Ooh, it's the stuff right here. that cool? So I like cut it to the right shapes and just stuck it in. This is day 23. The prompt was muddy. And so I drew some piggies. And again, this is another one that I filmed the entire process of. So from start to finish. And I explain why I make what decisions I make. And I had to teach myself to draw a pig for this one because I'm pretty sure I've never drawn a pig before. I really can't think of it if I have, but there it is. There's a piggy. This is day 24, or chop. This is, oh, I really like this thumbnail. I think it turned out really well with like the scissors. I feel like it lost a little something when it came to this one. I feel like it doesn't really look like hair, and it's kind of hard to see the chop. So if I were to do that again, I think I'd try and keep it more at this angle where you can see that line. Because this one, they kind of overlap, which I thought was cool when I was doing the sketch, but seeing it finished, I feel like it's missing a little something. That like harsh cut. Especially since the prompt is chop, I feel like it should look like a chop. So yeah, but I really like the spider web background thing that I was playing around with. This is day 25. The prompt was prickly, and I decided I either was going to draw a character that was like had a lot of edges and was pointy, or I was going to draw someone hugging a cactus. And you can tell which one I decided to go with. And these two doodles were just because I was watching Downton Abbey and I felt like drawing old folks. This is day 26. The prompt was stretch, and I was trying to think of like different ways to stretch, and then I made this cutesy little doodle, and then I was like, oh, let me try that again. I did this, and I was like, I really like that. So I decided to draw a character trying to get into the shirt and having a heck of a time. Can't seem to find the armholes, you know? Has anyone else done that?
Actually, this morning that happened to me. I was trying to put on this sweatshirt and it was upside down. Not inside out, it was upside down. And I kept like, why isn't my hand going into this hole? And then I realized that was the hood, and it was just like, what the heck? I was like, my whole world flipped upside down. It was weird.
Day 27, which was all done with Palette Full Pack supplies, and I have a video on that as well, where I unboxed the art supplies and then used them, and this is the result of that. So that was day 27, and the prompt was thunder. Then over here, because this is just taped in, so then over here we have day 28, and the prompt was gift, and so I was just sort of, I don't know, messing around because I realized I was going to run out of pages because these other pages were already drawn in, and this was my last page. So I was like trying to make this work. And I ended up coming up with this, and I really like this one. This one's probably one of my faves. This and the whale. Oh, and the star. Those are like my favorites. I really just, there's something about this. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's like the line quality or something. I don't know. I just really like it. And this hand turned out really good. I don't know. It's just, I really like that one. So that was day 28, and the prompt was gift. I feel like if I could change anything, I'd want to make this present more prominent. I feel like it's sort of hidden in there in a way. Just other than that, I really, really like that one. Now if we turn there, we have day 29, which the prompt was double, and I started to draw two twins, but like one had died like a significant time ago, so they don't really look alike anymore. So I kind of wanted to play with that idea that these used to be twins and now they look very different, but they're still best friends and they're gonna go shopping. This is day 30. The prompt was jolt. I also filmed this one and posted a video process of this one, coming up with the idea, and I'm really happy with this as well because it looks so different than what I usually draw. This is falling out. It's okay, it'll last. And I like the colors, and I like the way that his skin is like really, really pale but has that hint of green. And then here's the one I drew on Halloween. We have day 31 for Inktober, and the prompt was slice. And the first thing when I thought of when I heard the word slice was just pizza. So I didn't even do any preliminary sketches. I literally just went in and did this. I just knew exactly what I wanted. It was just in my head as soon as I saw the prompt word, and so this was the result of that. And I wrote Happy Halloween at the top, and I'm really happy with that. I like the way the cheese looks so stretchy. It looks delicious. And then here we're going into some older sketches that I had jumped to the end because I wanted to leave space for all those Inktober ones, even though I didn't leave enough space. So these are actually from the beginning of October when I was planning out a drawing using the official November colors chosen by Copic because they had asked me to try and create an illustration using those, and the video should already be up with that. And so these were some of my preliminary sketches for that. I actually started them from the back and moved my way forward, so you're going to see the most recent sketches, and then we're going to go into older sketches. This is one of my favorite pages. I love, love, love it. I like the way there's just like intermittent color splotches, and then there's the black and white sketches, and then I like this drawing of her back. Oh, look at it, it's gorgeous. So basically when I had the 3 colors, I decided to draw a character for them, and this was the character I came up with, basically with like these wreaths in her hair, and then like a really obnoxiously holiday themed dress, like ripped off Santa basically. But I also realized you could draw this really cool wood texture with the one color. It's like a very subtle wood texture, and that's just by leaving one layer of it and then going in with like the bullet nib, and well, actually it's not a bullet nib, it's a brush nib, but the tip of the brush nib, and you can draw like the little wood texture. I really like that. I like it, I like it. So like I said before, this stuff was drawn before that, so it was me trying to come up with an idea of a character. And originally I thought, oh, what if it's just a character poking through a wreath holding a gift, because I feel like those colors would work. But then I realized it was a little too intricate for only the 3 colors, so I nixed that and went with what you saw earlier. And then these were some of my very original ideas. So I swatched all the colors, was like the very first thing I did, and I thought, oh, a Christmas wreath. So I drew that. I was like, that works perfectly, but what about with the brown color? And then I came up with that wood, even though I didn't end up using it. I really like it. And then I thought, oh, what about like leaves? Fall, November's fall. So I drew a character with like a rake, and I was like, oh, I can have raking up leaves. And then here on this page, I tried to blend them together to see if I could, you know, get away with that. Since the colors are so, like, so saturated, I wanted to see what they'd look like if they were blending. So that's that. And then my very first sketches. So that was the first sketches, and then the new ones, and then the new ones, and then the new ones, and that was the last one. And I was like, yes, that's the idea I want to go with. Oh, sorry, I'm off screen. So, and then the finished one, you'll have to see the video if you want to see what my finished drawing was for that. I think it turned out pretty good, and I'm so happy with it. And like, it really pushed me outside of my comfort zone when it comes to markers, because I usually gravitate towards pastels, and you can see these are all very dark and saturated. So it gave me this confidence. I'm like, yeah, I can do it. I don't have to be afraid. Oh, and then these are those Crayola blending markers, which I was so pleasantly surprised. I kind of thought they were going to be junky, but I was so happy with how smooth of a color you can get. Look at, oh. After using them, like, because it comes with like 2 colorless blenders, which usually are used to like blend 2 colors together, but for these, they were more for creating interesting textures. So you can see I used it to create those stripes. And those stripes. Coolest thing about those markers is just the way you can layer them and blend them together, which I guess is why they're called blending markers. They weren't necessarily for blending together, but I tried them on the ELO sketchbook, because if you've watched the review, there's a whole video on that. I tried them on the ELO sketchbook though, and they blended really, really well. You can see that seems like that's a passing grade in my book. I was really happy with these, and like, I have Copic markers now, so I don't really have a use for them, but if I had these when I was younger, I would have been through the roof. I think they're really, really cool. I just wish they had a better color selection. Anyway, that's all of the sketches in the sketchbook, but this sketchbook, the ELO sketchbook, has a pocket. So I've just kind of accumulated a couple things. Not a lot, just, you know, a few things that I didn't feel like throwing away. Oh, these were my drawing without lifting up the pencil. That was my 3rd attempt, my 2nd attempt, and my 1st attempt, which I think was the best, actually. I don't remember what these were for. I had a plan for these, but they're really old. They're from September, so I can't really remember. Those are cute, and I didn't want to throw them away, so I just cut them out of the paper and stuck them in there. Here's was another attempt at that contouring. And this, I actually remembered to draw the arm, so that's cool. These were from, oh, this is from the October palette full, when I was swatching out all the supplies and trying to come up with an idea for that like thunder lightning thing. I know that the prompt was thunder, but I drew lightning, but it's fine. You know, I'm okay with, I can live with that. And then lastly, this one flew away. These were some thumbnail sketches for my Copic marker 3 marker challenge thing. I was trying to keep it very fluid, you can see. I don't have the finished drawing in here, so you'll have to see the video. Thumbnail I made right before making the finished drawing, so that's the closest you'll see if you haven't seen the finished one, that is. That's the closest you'll get, unless you go check it out. Well, there's that. So this is pretty cool. Aw, that's my favorite part of it's folded. Why did I do that? Anyway, that is my 20th sketchbook. If you're interested in checking out some of my older sketchbooks, which I've currently filmed every single one of them. Some of them range pretty far back to when I was like 13 years old. So if you want to see what I used to draw like back then, you can actually kind of like click around and see my entire journey, my entire art journey. It's kind of crazy, actually. Ooh, how far I've come and different detours I took to get where I am today. It's very interesting. Interesting. And I just used a Posca pen on top of it. They're not really waterproof, but my sketchbooks don't really go anywhere, and I didn't do this till recently so that I could keep them, tell them apart. And I actually, which I've already filmed the flip through of Sketchbook 19, and I just recently went over that with a Posca pen so that I could tell the difference when they're on my shelf. Look at that. Quick reference. So yeah, that was my 20th sketchbook. I want to thank you for coming along with me and flipping through it. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys all next week, and I hope you have a delicious evening full of waffles. Bye.